Have you guys ever gone back to an old movie you loved as a kid only to be disappointed that it's not as good as you remembered? I've recently done this with Star Wars Episode 1, where my child mind loved the movie, but as an adult with a fully functioning frontal lobe, I've now realised how cringy and awkward some of the dialogue between the young Anakin and Padme really is.
Are you an angel?
What?
An angel. I heard the deep space pilots talk about them. They're the most beautiful creatures in the universe. They live on the moons of Viego, I think.
You're a funny little boy.
Or how fucking annoying Jar Jar is. But you all might be asking yourself, how does this Star Wars analogy relate to the Evil Within 2? Well, I haven't played this game since its release date in 2017, almost 8 years ago, meaning I was 14 years old and was probably too busy choking the chicken to nurse Tatiana instead of thinking of the game critically. So why don't we just dive straight into it, shall we? You are back in the boots of Sebastian Castellanos, who looks worse than me after a Friday night, and are also very quickly reintroduced to Kidman. Kidman tells us that Mobius needs our help to get inside a brand new STEM system as it's gone haywire. Sebastian asks why they need his help as they have plenty of agents to send in there. Kidman then explains that Sebastian's daughter did not die in a house fire, but instead Mobius kidnapped her and is using her as the core for the new STEM system. After being drugged and taken to a Mobius facility, we are put inside STEM, where we are introduced to our first antagonist, Stefano Valentini, who seems to have similar powers to Ruvik from the first game. Stefano is a failed artist and a psychopath, and the developers really lent into the whole artist route for Stefano as we are greeted with his fucked up creation throughout the entire first half of the game. We quickly find out that Stefano has taken Lily and then go off to hunt him down and get our daughter back. Overall, Stefano is a good villain and he can be quite menacing at times as he likes to toy with Sebastian a lot, which is why it's unfortunate that halfway through the game we kill him and are introduced to a far less exciting villain named Father Theodore. Yes, this game pulls a Far Cry 3 where we have a really great villain in the beginning, only for him to be replaced by a pretty forgettable main villain afterwards. Father Theodore is so forgettable in fact that I only beat the game yesterday and had to search up his name for this review. It turns out that Theodore was the mastermind behind taking Lily and using her to gain powers. Around this time in the story we also learn that Sebastian's wife Myra is still alive and was working for Mobius. She recruited Kidman and Theodore to get Lily out of STEM, but Theodore wanted to take Lily for himself, so he had full control of STEM and he convinced Stefano to help him do it. The reason that Theodore wants to control STEM is because every single member of Mobius has a chip implanted in their heads that is connected to the STEM system, meaning if you control STEM, you control Mobius, and controlling Mobius is the closest a person can get to controlling the world. What the actual fuck? Isn't Mobius meant to be a really smart secret underground organisation? Surely someone would have brought up the huge security issue it would be to have every single member's brains hooked up to an experimental device, which at this point in time is mainly known for the catastrophic failure which caused the events of the first game and that it can turn people insane, and not to mention that if you accidentally plug a psychopath into it, they are able to throw the whole system into shambles and gain powers. That's not to mention the fact that both Sebastian and Kidman talk numerous times about the long-term psychological effects it had on them, in particular having hallucinations and not being able to tell what's real and what isn't. And seeing that Kidman was one of the few survivors of the first game and is still with Mobius, there is no way that she wouldn't have told them about her experiences in the first game, as she was still pretty loyal to them by the end of it. But whatever. At some point during the game, we find out that Myra also has powers and is a sperm bender or something. Lucky you, Sebastian. And that the STEM system has corrupted her mind, so we end up fighting her too, but she gains enough control to let us take Lily and leave STEM. Myra stays inside STEM to let out a signal that kills every member of Mobius with a chip in their head. We get to play a really shitty segment as Kidman that feels clunky as all fuck. Kidman saves us and we live happily ever after. Hooray. Overall, the story is definitely a downgrade from the first game. However, when it comes to gameplay, it is a massive improvement. They did a full overhaul of the id Tech engine they used for the first game to the point where they even gave it a new name called the STEM engine. This massive overhaul majorly improved all aspects of gameplay, especially to the stealth. You can now take cover and hide in bushes, which were much needed additions in my opinion. You can even aim and open doors without being forced to stand up now, which I know always got me killed in the first game. The gameplay is much smoother in this entry, and I will say a lot more fun too. You see, the game takes a step more in the action direction more than the survival horror direction, meaning that stealthing and conserving ammo isn't a huge issue as you can now craft ammo. Although what they make up for in action, they unfortunately lose the tense atmosphere that the first game had. You do gain a bit of this back when they add stalker enemies that you have to avoid later on, but overall that atmosphere of the first game just isn't here. The AI also seems to have taken a bit of a hit in this game, as I frequently saw them getting stuck on walls and spazzing out more than my epileptic Uncle Terry having a seizure. We'll always miss you, Unc. Overall, The Evil Within 2 is a bit of a step backwards from the first game, but that being said, it is still a really good game, and if you're going to give this series a go, definitely play it. I give it an 8.5 out of 10. I just wanted to take a brief moment to kindly ask you guys to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. I will be reviewing Dustborn next, which I am really not looking forward to, but I hope you guys find enjoyment in my suffering. Anyway, that's it. See ya.